In the next 30 years, the population of the Philippines is set to double to 170 million people. In this Catholic country, contraceptives are frowned on and abortion is illegal. But in the Philippines, a dark industry is thriving.
I've just gotten off the phone with one of our contacts. There's an illegal abortion about to take place and we have the address.
In the capital, Manila, I was about to enter the world of the backstreet abortion industry. If you take a train through Manila, you soon see the Philippine population explosion at first hand. For mile after mile, people live in illegal shanty towns beside the tracks. Metro Manila has more than 12 million inhabitants. 35% of them live in slums. And as the population explodes, ever more people are being sucked into poverty. In desperation, the government is evicting tens of thousands of them and sending them back to the countryside.
These trucks have been lined up so that people can load their belongings and leave this slum area.
The government will give these families some compensation, but there's no work for them outside the city.
This woman has about 5 children and she's being relocated about 80 kilometers outside of Manila, and she's very annoyed with the government because she says she's not given adequate compensation to move from here. The demolition team has arrived. These workers are going to demolish the shacks that are lined up near the railway tracks.
Hundreds of families were due to be evicted that day. In the slums, statistics come alive. Close to 40% of Filipinos are under 15. I met a woman who was preparing to leave. She told me they were going to a remote government housing scheme where there was no water, electricity or schools for her children.
She says over here they have jobs. You know, they make about 50 pounds a month. Over there they have no jobs. How are they going to sustain themselves?
The Philippines has its own NHS, but in this Catholic country, whether you're given contraceptives can depend on the beliefs of your doctor.
She had started using contraceptives, but she went to a local doctor and the doctor told her that it was banned and illegal to use these contraceptives, so she stopped using them, and as a result she says she's ended up with 8 children.
In the city center, the Catholic Church was holding a month of rallies and services against abortion. A wealthy American group had turned up to lend its support. A major study suggests that more than 500,000 women have illegal abortions every year. Some 80,000 of them have to be hospitalized when the abortions go wrong. The Catholic Church knows that vast numbers of apparently devout Catholics are secretly using backstreet abortions. To make her point, Sister Pilar, the leader of the anti-abortion movement in the Philippines, held up a model of a fetus.
Sister Pilar is addressing the mass and telling people not to have abortions, that abortion is a crime, it's a sin.
Then came a powerful congressman, Eduardo Zialcita. He enthused about the ban on dispensing contraceptives in government clinics in the city center.
The congressman is saying that those who use artificial means of contraception are against family, they're anti-family.
Some Filipinos fear the population explosion, not the congressman.
As far as I'm concerned, the bigger the families, the better. The more people, the better. The Filipinos are one of the largest exporters of manpower in the world. We're actually helping countries with very low birth rates in their search for workers, like for example Japan. The population growth is almost zero. Italy, Spain. many European countries, Italy in particular. There are many Filipinos working there. Without us, I don't think the economy is going to move.
I'm on my way to meet Sister Pilar. She's invited American pro-life groups to join her as she spreads her messages in the slums of Metro Manila. There is an ideological battle being played out between Sister Pilar's group and the women's rights groups, and they're focusing their attention on the poorest neighborhoods of the city.
We arrived at a desperately poor neighborhood that sprung up around one of Manila's garbage dumps. Sister Pilar wanted to introduce one of her American backers to the community she worked in.
Hello.
Karen Bodel's organization, Operation Outcry, had just donated money to her campaign.
I come to you to thank you for coming to Sister Pilar's programs to learn about natural family planning, to learn about how to care for your children so that you don't have to resort to abortion, which is what my culture told me I needed when I was scared and pregnant. There are 28 studies in the world that show there's a link between women getting breast cancer and having had an induced abortion. I was here with 3 other women, 2 from the United States and 1 from Canada. And one of the women, Luena, who was here with us, had 3 abortions. And she could not have any more children because the suction from that abortion caused her fallopian tubes to compress.
For America's Christian right, the Philippines is a chance to put their ideology into action. But here in the slums, there is also an organization called cant. It runs women's health clinics.
I've heard that women's groups like cant that go against the Catholic Church by providing cheap and artificial contraceptives to poor women in areas such as these get targeted by the Catholic Church and pro-life groups.
Cant's opponents say it secretly provides advice on abortion. Dr. Junis Melga runs this network of clinics. She told me that most women were desperate to avoid large families.
Most of the pregnancies here are an accident.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And in fact, the survey says that about half of all pregnancies are really unintended and even unwanted.
Pero matagal na kayong dito nakatira?
Initially,